Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne. It's getting a little chilly up here. Time to wear the appropriate camo for the environment and surroundings. Because, that's what they think about us preppers. Walking around camo. Guess I should have some guns out too. That's just silliness. In fact, today's topic, what prepping is. Prepping is common sense. And I think the reason why prepping is catching on in this country at this time is people just want to return to common sense. Things have swung so far one way, it's time to bring things back towards the middle. The economy, the government, social situation, just wherever you look, things just seem to be way out of whack. But prepping, just returning to common sense. I mean, if you look at every aspect of prepping, it's really getting back to common sense. Whether or not you're preparing for a disaster or, some type of unrest, when you're preparing, you're doing things that are just common sense. For example, you load up on guns and ammo because you might think there'll be social unrest. Well, that's just common sense. If there's some, posters, pictures out there on Facebook and a few other places that show, the response time for the police could be 30 seconds, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. But the response time of somebody drawing their weapon is, point some seconds. Or maybe 1 or 2, 3 seconds at the most. The point is that the police aren't there to protect you when something's happening. All they can do is come in and try and figure out who did it to you. And hopefully they can catch him. So, when you take steps to protect yourself, it's common sense. We all know there's a drought in this country. And we've seen some pretty extreme weather all over on the East Coast. They had a heat wave, knocked out power for a while. And in fact, I think they said in India, power got knocked out for, a week or more? So when people do things like buy candles and matches and stock up on food because there might be an interruption in power, that's just common sense. You don't know. When you flip on that light switch, you just expect the lights to come on because that's what they normally do. But what happens that one morning you wake up and you go to the bathroom, you flip on the light and it don't come on. Power's out. Well, you don't know when the power could come back. It could be an hour or less, maybe that day, maybe that week, hopefully that month. You don't know. So it's common sense to take those preparations. Food supply. Right now, I guess because of the drought, looks like we're going to have a bad crop of corn. So of course prices are going up. And usually when prices go up in one area, it just continues across the board. Probably see wheat go up, beans, rice, all of it go up. Because if there's a shortage on corn, well, people got to eat, so they start buying other things. Drives the price up, right? So if you're prepping and you see something that you normally use go on sale and you buy a case or two, you grab an extra sack of rice and beans, that's just common sense. It's nothing special, it's just common sense. Let's say you go out, you buy yourself a tent, sleeping bags, some other camping gear, hiking gear, good pair of boots. Because maybe you like to go camping and hiking. But you always keep that bag ready because let's just say there's some type of accident where you have to evacuate. Could be a forest fire, chemical spill, a plague of some sort. Who knows? Riots. You decide it's best to get out of Dodge. Grab and go. Bug out. You've already prepared in advance. You grab it, you go, you're gone. Everybody else is wondering what's happening. Meanwhile, you're miles away, safe and sound. Well, isn't that just common sense too? So, they're making all this stuff about, preppers, and, it's hitting the news, and people are, doing the show like Doomsday Preppers, and they're trying to make people look a little crazy. But the bottom line is that prepping is just returning to common sense. It's just doing things that you most likely should be doing. I mean, let's say you start to learn how to take care of your own stuff. You learn a little plumbing. Learn how to fix that leaky faucet. Maybe you get the proper tools for the job. And then you buy a couple extra washers and valve seats. You get the right wrench, seat wrench. So now, instead of calling the plumber and paying him 30 or 60 bucks to fix a leaky faucet, you do it yourself. Or let's say you learn how to tune up your car. If you got a modern car, that's pretty simple. You change the spark plug wires, you change the spark plugs. Call it good to go. Maybe even change your own oil. So you get yourself a nice set of socket wrenches and screwdrivers, a few other tools for the car, and you do it yourself. Save some money, and now you're a little self-sufficient. You don't have to try and find a mechanic or a plumber and wait for them for who knows how long. No, you're taking steps to be self-sufficient. Well, that's just common sense too. So when you think about it, just about everything you do in prepping is common sense. Some people try to learn how to live off the land, bushwhacking, foraging, learning to identify plants and animals, hunt, fish. Well, isn't that common sense? So, you really have to wonder why they're making such a big deal about prepping. And when it's just common sense. Well, I guess that's because common sense isn't so common. And that's why I say out here, when you talk to people about prepping, they look at you with a funny look. Like, that when a dog hears a funny sound, they kind of cock their head like that. Well, you talk about prepping, people look at you kind of funny. Then you explain what it is, they go, oh man, I've been doing that my whole life. I guess I've been a prepper, just didn't know it. Now, I've probably mentioned that in the video before, but some things just bear repeating. The whole reason I thought of it was, last night I was looking for a particular book on the bookshelf. I was coming across a bunch of different books I had about, survival, magazines, and I was thumbing through them, and it just hit me. It's like, all this stuff is common sense. And it's just common sense that if you fail to prepare today, you're preparing to fail tomorrow.